This video just gives you an overview of the intercooler install process. It's not very too detailed, but it's good enough for you guys to go ahead and do it. Integrated engineering intercooler. So this is the FDS intercooler. What you get with this kit: two boost pipes. These are the links for holding the condenser in place. These two you will not need because they are used for US operations where you don't have to take the front off. We are going to take the front crash beam off. These are to support the front crash beam. We have 4 clamps for the intercooler hose, and that's the box. The intercooler is pretty big, and these go on this to hold the condenser in place. These bits. Okay, now we're going to go and install the intercooler at auto site. Let's figure out. Now you can do this without taking out the wheels, but I recommend you take them off. Disconnecting the fender liner. You have 1, 2, 3 screws. There are screws underneath it, and you will remove the shield from the car. So once you've done that, then we'll get to it later on. Yeah, there's a screw over here under the fender liner. That is the thing holding the fender liner to the bumper. And there is another screw over there. I think here. He is basically releasing the screws and then removing the clips. So once you get the car up in the air, you have to remove the headlights. So the headlight connectors are here. This is the headlight connector. It plugs in over here. You remove this connector from the line over here. This connector goes all the way around it. So this is one connector you pull out, which goes into the temp sensor over here. Then you disconnect the fender liners, get the bumper out, which is what we're doing. Remove the shield. You disconnect the headlight sensor from here also. There's one connector over here. And then the headlight, bumper, everything will come off. And there's another connector over here, which is the front crash sensor connector. This goes in over here somewhere. There's a connecting point over here where it goes into. And make sure these lines are out. There's a clip over here which goes into, plugs into the frame. Remove, disconnect that clip because this entire frame is going to move out. And that's it so far. So once you're under the car, you can remove the intercooler hoses, which we have already done. They're over here. Factory intercooler is disconnected from the car now.
ये तो खुलने नहीं चला।
Now the intercooler, the car is off. We're just draining the washer fluid because it's connected to the bumper. So now this entire plastic clip comes off, and then we get to the intercooler install. These air guides have a clip over here, and there's one over here, and there's one somewhere down here. This entire air guide has to come out. First we're removing the crash beam. 4 bolts over here and 1 bolt going over here. The bolts are actually useful if you don't want to take the crash beam off. We took it off, but you can slide the entire front assembly forward using these bolts. The intercooler, getting it out is a little tricky. You just got to push the condenser lines in so you can get clearance to take the condenser off the stock intercooler. Then it's a pretty easy job getting it out. So after a lot of work, the intercooler is out. So this is where the intercooler sits. This is a radiator condenser. So normally what people would recommend you do is you cut a bit of this off so you can move the intercooler out. We didn't want to cut the frame at all, so we basically disconnected the radiator and then moved the entire frame forward, and then you use the angle to get the clip over here released. So now we're going to put the new intercooler in place, plug it onto the radiator, then the condenser, and then plug it into the car. So at this size difference, this is the IE intercooler, this is the factory intercooler. You can see the size difference is huge. No wonder the car is very hot with the factory intercooler. It's almost non-existent. Transfer the clips on. These we have kept loose, so when we put the condenser on, we can just turn them up and tighten them. And yeah, now put it back in, close everything up, and we'll figure it out. So the intercooler is in finally. This is the intercooler exit. We didn't have to cut anything, it's complete plug and play. Only point is you need to push this line a little inside through the frame to get it off the original intercooler. Look at the size of the intercooler, it's huge. So now that we have put everything in, now we are putting the car back together. It was a hell of a difficult install. Lots of muscle needed, but it goes in pretty easily. The intercooler hoses go only on one direction, so just align it with the direction that your OE hoses were and you should be good. Okay, headlights are on, lower shield is getting on, we have put on all the pipes. Intercooler you can see through here, that's the intercooler, it's about twice the size. You can also see the opening of the back duct over there is closed. There's the GTE block off plate behind it, and you can see the open duct over here which we cut open. We'll clean this up a little bit more later on when we do the rear diffuser parts, but that's it. Yeah. So the best part about these bumpers is that everything is connected to two wiring harnesses over here. Everything. So you need to disconnect just these two and the entire bumper can be taken off. You can see from the back, these are your washer, windshield washer, that's your fog light. There is no space, there is a bit of opening on the side of the fog light over here. You can see air coming in, at least to cool the car. But I don't know why they have given that vent, but yeah. Bumper is going on. When you put the bumper in, don't forget to disconnect the washer fluid line behind this. If you don't forget it, then it's a bit of a mess. So we connected it. Now I'm just putting everything together, and hopefully we should have this car ready to go in a bit. When you're putting the bumper back on, don't forget to connect the connectors for the bumper sensors as well as the washer fluid. Otherwise it will cause you a lot of headache later on. Okay, intercooler is in and we are on our way. I want to go home, take a shower, and then we are going to go for a drive after lunch. So yeah, the car sounds a little different too. I guess the metal intercooler helps. Alright guys, so that was a very quick install. Start to finish was 2 hours. From the time I got to auto site till the time we got the car put back together, exactly 2 hours. So if you are doing an install of the intercooler, best time so far is 2 hours. It usually takes a day if you do it slowly. We did it pretty fast without any issues. We didn't have to cut anything. We had to wriggle the condenser off from the bracket a little bit, from the black frame, wriggle it inside to get it off the factory intercooler. But other than that, no issues whatsoever. Pretty smooth install. Takes a bit of elbow grease to get things together, but alright, I think this is going to be the end of this video. So I'll put the full clip together, and you guys should have a proper intercooler install video. I wouldn't recommend doing this install by yourself because it's not a DIY thing. You need to know your way around the cars, particularly the front assembly, and there are a lot of wires, connectors which you have to disconnect. I'd recommend going to a shop, working with the shop if you want to, but you should go and get this thing done at a shop. You can't do it yourself. It takes a lot of effort by yourself. I would not recommend it. There are enough shops that are very good at working on these cars. Just go to a shop and get this done. It's a brilliant piece. It's huge and it's massive, and it should really help this car in the heat because of the whole temperature issue. So IITs, welcome back to the downsides.